All right, there we go. Welcome everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm Sarah and this is yoga. So we are going to start on our backs today. So go ahead and make your way to your mat. Come onto your back in whatever comfortable position you choose. So you can bend your knees if you like, if that feels better for your back. If your knees are bent, you can point them up toward the ceiling. You could walk your feet out towards the edges of your mat and let your knees kind of rest in against each other. Or if you want to open up the hips and the inner thighs, bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees open out to the side. So whatever feels best for you and your back today. Your arms can rest down by your sides, or you can rest your hands on your belly, or take your arms out to a T position, or even bring them up overhead. And we'll just spend a moment or two just with our breath, settling in for our practice today. Nice full deep inhales and exhales. So let's all go ahead and bend our knees now, and we'll bring the soles of our feet together, let the knees open out to the side. So coming into a supine Baddha Konasana, lying down butterfly pose. If you need to, you can kind of support your knees and thighs with a block if you have one, or even you can grab a couple of pillows if you want. And just allowing gravity to help open up your hips and your inner thighs. And then let's go ahead and take our right foot and stack it on top of the left. So we're lifting that foot up a little bit and just maybe feeling a little bit more intensity on that right leg. Just relaxing the hips. And then we'll switch. So we'll take the left foot and stack it on top of the right. And release, unstack your feet, and let's bring those knees together. And then hug the knees into the chest. Give them a nice little squeeze. Maybe take some little rocks from side to side. Just kind of massage that low back. Placing hands on top of the knees, circling the knees first in one direction. And then in the opposite direction. Coming back to center, let's open up the knees, reach the arms between the legs. Grab a hold of your feet or grab onto your big toes with the first two fingers and thumbs. Reaching the feet up toward the ceiling for a happy baby. Dropping that tailbone down towards the mat, opening up the hips. And then if you like, you can rock this from side to side. And we'll stop that movement, extending your right leg out. And bending the right knee, extending your left leg out. And bending the left knee and then extending both legs out. If you can't reach your feet, that's fine. Grab onto your shins or your thighs. Keep a bend in the knees. Press that tailbone down towards the mat. And we'll release, hug the knees into the chest again. Grabbing a hold behind the knees, using the legs to rock back and forth 2 to 3 times. And we're going to come up and balance on our sit bones in the Navasana boat pose. So either hold on behind your legs or release them. You can keep your legs bent or straighten them. You can keep the arms out to the front or reach them out to the side. And we're going to hold here for about 30 seconds. Lifting the heart, relax the shoulders. Do not hold your breath. Keep breathing. A little shaking is fine. About 10 more seconds here. 3, 2, 1. Drop the feet. Hug your knees. Maybe round your spine and tuck the chin into the chest. And we'll go ahead and sit up. We'll come into just a comfortable seat. So cross-legged is fine, or you can extend your legs out into staff pose if you want to sit on a blanket or a towel if you have one. Rolling your shoulders up, back, and down. Sitting up nice and tall, and then dropping the chin down into the chest. Taking the right ear towards the right shoulder. Releasing the chin back down to the chest. And then we'll take the left ear towards the left shoulder. And we'll start to move with the breath. Exhale the chin to the chest. Inhale right ear, right shoulder. Exhale chin to chest. Inhale left ear, left shoulder. So taking a few more of these little half circles. And if this bothers your neck to make these half circles, you can always skip the chin to chest and just tip your head from side to side. Let's do one more to each side. Coming back to center when we're done and lifting the chin so it's level with the floor. Shoulders and torso stay still as we turn the head to look over the right shoulder. Releasing through center and looking over the left. Moving with your breath at your pace. Inhale through center, exhale. Alternate from side to side. Try not to turn your torso at all, just move your head. Holding on one side for an extra breath or two. Drop the chin down into that shoulder that you're looking over. And then lift the chin back up, come through center, look over the other shoulder, and then drop the chin again. Lifting the chin, come back to center, bring the hands behind the head, and we'll look all the way up. And release. Taking some shoulder circles first to the front. Nice big circles. Loosen up those shoulders, release that tension you're holding on to in them. Take a couple more to the front. And then go ahead and make those circles to the back. Opening up the chest and the heart. Take a few more. And last one. We'll place our hands on our knees and we'll start some torso rotation. So inhale as you bring the chest forward. Exhale as you round the spine to the back. Move with your breath at your pace. Take a couple more in this direction. And one more. And then pause and circle around the other way. Inhaling to the front, exhaling to the back, moving with your breath. Take a couple more. And last one. Coming back to center, bring the soles of our feet together, coming into Baddha Konasana. Again, we're going to do a lot of versions of this today. So grabbing a hold of your ankles, sit nice and tall, hinging it forward at the hips. If you want, you can lightly press your elbows into your knees. So we're going to do a little assisted stretch here. So what I want you to do is with your elbows on your knees is I want you to try and bring your knees together. So you're pressing against your elbows with your legs. So pushing up with them and then release. Maybe go a little deeper into your fold here. Okay, let's do that again. Push up with your knees. Push, push, push into your elbows. And then release. Once more, push up, push up, push up. And then release. A little bit deeper. Good. All right, and then release the fold. We're going to come up and balance again on our sits bones. So lift your feet off of the mat here in your butterfly. And then keep your heels pressed together as you open your feet out. We're coming into blossoming lotus. So your feet are a couple of petals, your knees are a couple more petals. And then if you want to make 2 more petals, you can slide your forearms underneath your shins with your palms facing up. And then you have 6 lovely petals of your blossoming lotus. Keeping your feet lifted, release your hands, grabbing a hold of the big toes or grabbing onto your calves or your shins, and then we'll come into a wide-legged boat. So extending the legs out. You do not have to straighten them out all the way. You can keep a bend in the knees. Keeping your chest lifted, keeping your core engaged. And then bring the soles of the feet back together. Let's fold one more time into that Baddha Konasana. And release, making your way onto all fours for some cat and cows. So bringing our wrists underneath our shoulders, our knees under our hips, fingers spread wide, or you can come onto fists for wrists if that bothers your wrists today. Inhaling as we dip the belly down, looking up into cow. Exhaling as we arch the spine, tucking the chin and the pelvis under into cat. Moving with your breath, warming up that spine. Keeping that core engaged, keeping the pelvic floor lifted. Elbows a little bit soft. Taking a couple more. And we'll take one more in each direction. Coming back to our neutral spine and then sitting back onto the heels to come into a child's pose. So if you like, keep your arms extended, reaching out towards the front of the mat, or maybe stacking your hands or fists and resting the forehead on them, or even bringing your hands back by your feet with your palms facing up. Knees can stay together. You can separate them out to the width of the mat if you choose. If this is bothering your knees, you can elevate your hips over your knees and take puppy in place of your child's pose. So taking some of the bend out of the knees. Just try to make this as comfortable a position as you can. And then you can either stay here in your child or puppy pose, or if you're ready, make your way into a downward facing dog, planting the hands to the front of the mat, shoulder width apart, fingers spread wide, coming forward and tucking the toes, lifting the hips up and back, come into your Adho Mukha Svanasana, making whatever movements feel good to you in this first downward dog, maybe pedaling out your feet, maybe shaking your head out, maybe taking one leg into three-legged dog at a time, pivoting your heels from side to side, whatever feels good to you today. And that might be no movement whatsoever. Maybe you just want to hang out in your downward dog and be still. That's fine too. We will eventually all find that place of stillness in our downward dog. Tucking the chin, looking back between the legs, pressing out through each fingertip so that you're taking some of the weight away from your wrists, radiating it out to the entire surface of your hands. And then we'll look up at the hands and walk the feet up towards the hands, making our way to our forward fold, softening the knees, grabbing opposite elbows, letting the upper body just hang. Let your head dangle, shaking it out from side to side, taking it front to back, swaying the whole torso from side to side. And then we'll return to center, releasing elbows, placing hands on shins or thighs, extend the spine and look forward. Take a few deep breaths here. On your next exhale, fold, soften the knees, inhale, reverse swan back, come all the way up. Exhaling, hands into the heart. Take a couple deep breaths here. We'll take a nice big step out to the side for our moonflowers and sunflowers. So pointing those toes out about 45 degrees. Inhale, reach to the corners of the room. Exhale, bend the knees and bring your elbows into your sides. And inhale, reach it up and out. Exhaling as we bend. Move with your breath. Couple more here. Inhaling and exhaling. Last one. And exhale, transition to your sunflowers. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up, palms touch. Exhale, bend the knees, circle the arms down and around. And inhale, brings you back up. Exhaling as we fold. Couple more here. Inhaling and exhaling. Last one. We're going to leave our hands down. You can bring in a block if you can't quite reach. You can widen your stance if you want to. We're going to oil our hip joints by bending one knee at a time. And then coming through center, bending the other knee. So moving back and forth at your own pace. If there's some little joint noises happening, don't worry too much. There goes my right ankle. About those noises, unless there is pain with those noises. That's something you might want to talk to your doctor about. All right, let's do one more on each side. And then we'll come back to center, bend both knees, walk the hands up onto the thighs. If you widened your stance, you might want to bring the stance in a little bit closer. Keep your toes turned out. And then we're going to press our right hand into our right thigh and look over the left shoulder. We'll twist here. Keep your core engaged, protecting the back. And then release and switch sides. Twist the other way. Draw that belly button back toward your spine. And release, come back to center. Let's inhale it up. Stepping the feet together at the top of the mat. Bringing the hands into the heart. Take a few deep breaths here. All right, so we're going to move through some sun salutations. As always, just do the sun salutation that makes you happiest if you don't want to do the one that I am doing today. I'm going to do the version with the twist in it today. I feel like my back needs some twisting today. I lifted this morning, so I think I would need a little twisting action to happen there. Just follow along as best you can, and if you need to rest, child's pose or puppy pose is fine. Let's inhale, reach it up. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold with soft knees. Stepping the right foot to the back. You can stay on the toes or lower the knee. The right hand stays down. The left arm reaches up for that twist. Exhaling to release and stepping the left foot back for downward dog or child's pose. Inhaling forward into plank, shoulders come directly over the wrists. Stay on your toes or lower the knees. Exhale, part way down, chaturanga. Inhale the cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward dog or child's pose. Stepping the right foot up by the hands. If it gets stuck part way, just help it get there. Stay on toes or lower your left knee. Left hand stays down, right arm reaches up, twist. And release it, take your left foot to the front. Inhale, reverse swan dive, come up. Exhale the hands to the heart. And inhale it up. Exhale, fold with soft knees. This time the left foot steps back. Staying up on toes or lowering the knee. Left hand stays down, right arm reaches up, twist. And release, take your right foot back for downward dog or child's pose. Inhaling into plank. Shoulders over wrists, stay on toes or lower knees. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale the cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward dog or child's pose. Stepping that left foot up by the hands. Stay on toes or drop your right knee. Right hand stays down, left arm reaches up, twist. And release, take your right foot to the front. Inhale, reverse swan dive, come up. Exhale the hands to the heart. Do that once more on each side. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold with soft knees. Right foot to the back. Stay on toes or lower the knee. Right hand stays down, left arm reaches up, twist. And release, take your left foot back. Downward dog or child's pose. Inhaling to plank. Stay on toes or lower knees. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or dog. Exhale, downward dog or child's pose. Stepping the right foot up by the hands. Stay on toes or drop your left knee. Left hand stays down, right arm reaches up, twist. And release it. Take your left foot to the front. Inhale, reverse swan dive, come up. Exhale the hands to the heart. And once more on the left. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold with soft knees. Left foot to the back. Stay on toes or drop the knee. Left hand stays down, right arm reaches up, twist. And release it. Take your right foot back. Downward dog or child's pose. Inhale the plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or dog. Exhale, downward dog or child's pose. Left foot steps up by the hands. Stay on toes or drop your right knee. Right hand stays down, left arm reaches up, twist. And release. Take your right foot to the front. Inhale, reverse swan dive, come up. Exhale the hands to the heart. We'll take a few deep breaths here. Open mouth exhales if you need them. You want to make a little audible sigh. No one else can hear you except for the people that maybe you're practicing with or in the next room. Letting it go. Inhale it up. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold with soft knees. Stepping the right foot to the back. We're going to spin that foot out up to 90 degrees. So we're going to come into a warrior two. Windmill your arms on up. Virabhadrasana V. Arms reach out parallel to the floor, or you can rest your hands at your heart if you prefer. Make sure your left knee is pointing towards the front of the room. Shoulders are stacked over the hips and relaxed down away from the ears. Breathing. Turning that left palm up toward the ceiling, reaching for the front of the room, bringing that left arm up, reverse warrior. Right arm can just lightly rest on that right leg. You could also bring it behind your back and reach for your left hip. If you want to go a little deeper, start to reach your left fingertips towards the back of your mat. Keeping the bend in the left knee. And we'll release, come back through warrior two. Reach it forward again. This time the left forearm comes to the thigh. The right arm reaches up and over for side angle. So some folks like to have their right arm reaching straight up toward the ceiling. You could also bring it alongside your head and create a nice straight line from your right heel to your right fingertips. Your left elbow can stay on your thigh, or if you want, you can bring that hand down to the mat or a block. Or you can come into the bind, dropping your right arm behind your back, coming underneath your left thigh with your left arm, and reaching for your hands. And then opening the chest back out to the side if you have the bind. You kind of hold it to get it. Sink your hips down. Breathe. If you have the bind, release it. And then we're going to bring both hands down to frame this left foot, come up onto your right toes, and then lower the right knee down to the mat, coming into a low lunge. So make sure your left knee is stacked over your left ankle in the front, the right knee is behind the right hip in the back. And then we're going to walk the hands to the instep side of the foot, so to the right of the foot. Moving into lizard. So I'm going to give you several options here for your lizard. You can stay here, or if you need a little bit more height, you can bring in a block if you have one and place your hands on the block. If you want to go a little deeper, lower your elbows down to the mat or to your block. You can leave your left foot where it is. You could walk it out towards the edge of the mat. You can stay on the sole of your foot, or you can roll to the outside edge of that foot. And you can even rock from the sole of the foot to the outside edge of the foot and back again. So this is pretty intense. So listen to your body, see what feels right for you and your hips today. And then we're going to make our way back out of this. So if you are on your elbows, go ahead and come back up onto your palms. And then we're going to walk this left foot all the way across, heel toe it all the way over to the right side of your mat. We're going to move into pigeon, bringing the left knee down on the left side of the mat. Maybe that lower leg is going to want to tuck underneath you. Go ahead and let it do that if it wants to. If this is bothering your knee, you can come onto your back and take a figure four, crossing your left ankle of your right thigh. If you're staying in pigeon, keep your hips level. You can prop underneath the right hip if you like, and then fold if you want to. You don't have to fold in pigeon, by the way, if you don't want to. Most people like to. So staying folded in your pigeon, or if you want to come up for king pigeon, come back up, lift the chest, open the heart, bending the right leg and pointing the toes up toward the ceiling. Stay there or reach back for your right foot with your right hand. You might be able to hook the foot into the elbow. If you want, you can balance this pose by reaching the left arm out. If you have the foot hooked to the elbow and you want to bind, you can reach back and bind. If you are in king pigeon, gently release the foot back down to the mat. Bring your hands back down as well. We're going to tuck the right toes under, stepping back. You can come back into child's pose or down dog if you need a break, or if you want to warm back up with a vinyasa. Step back into plank. Move through chaturanga, upward dog or cobra, and then back to down dog. And I'm going to turn myself around on my mat. So when we do the same sequence on the other side, I don't have my back to you guys. So from downward dog, we'll step the right foot up by the hands. Spin the left foot out up to 90 degrees. It can be less than that. Windmill those arms on up. Warrior two. Virabhadrasana. Sink into your pose. Keep your right knee pointing straight over the right toes. Shoulders stacked over the hips. Tuck your tailbone under slightly. And breathe. Turning the right palm up toward the ceiling, reaching for the front of the room, bring it up, reverse warrior. Left arm can lightly rest on that leg. You can bring that arm behind the back, reaching for your right hip. Keep the bend in the right knee. Maybe start to reach the right fingertips back a little bit more. Open up the ribs on that right side. Releasing back through warrior two, reaching it forward again with the right fingertips. Forearm comes to the thigh. Left arm reaches up. Side angle. And again, if you want to have it straight up toward the ceiling, that's fine. If you want to bring it alongside the head, that's fine too. Staying with the forearm on the thigh, or bring that hand down to a block or the mat, or taking the bind. If you have the bind, release it. And then we're going to bring the hands down to the mat on either side of the right foot. Come up onto your left toes and then lower that left knee. You can untuck the toes if you want. So make sure that your right knee is stacked over your right ankle. The left knee is behind the left hip. Moving into lizard, bringing both hands to the left of your foot, so towards the instep side of your foot. And again, whatever options you want to take on this side, it does not have to be the same as the other side. Maybe you have an injury on this side or the other side, something needs to be different, that's fine. So stay on your palms or lower to your elbows, leave your foot where it is, or walk it out to the right side of the mat. Stay on the sole of your foot, roll to the outside edge of the foot, stay still or rock from the nice edge of that foot to the sole of the foot and back again. And stopping whatever movement we're making, coming back up to palms if we lowered, and then go ahead and heel toe your right foot all the way across the mat over to the left side. Bring the knee down on the right side of the mat. If you can keep that lower leg parallel to the front of your mat, great. If the lower leg wants to tuck underneath you, that's fine too. Taking a figure four on your back if this is bothering your knee, cropping underneath the right hip as needed, folding when you're ready. Staying folded for a while longer or coming up for king pigeon, lifting the chest, and then bending that right leg. Sorry, left leg, pointing the toes up toward the ceiling. Maybe reach back for the foot with your hand. Maybe slide that foot into the elbow. You can balance the pose, reaching your right arm out. You can bind by bringing your hands together. And releasing, king pigeon if you're in it. Again, come back to down dog, child's pose, or plank for another vinyasa. And then from downward dog, just go ahead and walk your feet up towards your hands. Come into that forward fold. Place the hands on the shins or thighs, extend the spine forward. Couple deep breaths here. On your next exhale, fold, soften the knees, inhale, reverse swan dive, come all the way up. Exhaling, hands to the heart. And take a few deep breaths here. All right, so along the same lines of our hip opening stuff, we are going to do balancing pigeon for our standing balance. Now, if you prefer to do tree or a different balance pose, if you want to work on an arm balance, it's your practice, okay? So do what feels right to you today. If you are going to be doing a standing balance and you have the ability to move to a part of your room that is not carpeted, I recommend that. Otherwise, just stay where you are. My whole room is carpeted, so unless I want to go into my bathroom, and I don't want you guys to see my bathroom, so I'm just going to stay on my mat. All right, so let's start by bringing our feet hip width apart and parallel, toes spread and relaxed, finding the tripod of the foot and balancing the weight evenly on those 3 points. So it's the ball mound below the big toe, the ball mound below the baby toe, the center of the heel. So really picturing those 3 points like the legs on a 3-legged stool. So if you want to kind of rock from your heels to your toes, from the outside to the inside edges of your feet, and then really find center. Engaging your Pada Bandha, your foot seal. Engaging Mula Bandha, lifting the pelvic floor. Uddiyana Bandha, drawing the abdominals in, drawing everything in towards the center. Jalandhara Bandha, drawing the chin in slightly towards the throat. Finding your drishti, your focal point. And then we're going to shift the weight onto the right leg. And actually, never mind, sorry. We're going to sink the hips first. We're going to have a seat. Forgot what I was doing. Okay, sink your hips back and down. Come into kind of a high squat, not a real low squat. And then shift the weight onto that right leg. Take your left ankle across the right thigh. Make that figure 4. And then maybe sink the hips down a little bit more and bring the hands into the heart. So we're in our balancing pigeon. So you have options here. If you want, you can fold and bring your fingertips down to the floor, getting a little deeper stretch into that hip, getting a little help with the balance. And then if you folded, slowly come back up. If you rush, you're going to fall out of your balance. So go nice and slow. And then we'll go ahead and release. Roll out your right ankle. Reset. Re-engage. Pada Bandha. Engage all the other bandhas as well. Your Maha Bandha, which are your 3 main ones, all at once. Finding your drishti. Go ahead and sink your hips back and down again. Come into that kind of shallow squat here. Shift the weight onto your left leg. Take the right ankle across into that figure 4. Sink the hips a little bit more. Hands to the heart. option to fold and bring your fingertips down to the mat or the floor, whatever your surface you're on. If you folded, slowly come back up and release. Roll out your left ankle. Come back to your mat if you stepped away from it, coming up to the top of the mat. Let's inhale it up. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold with soft knees. Stepping the feet to the back one at a time. Coming into downward dog. And then let's just drop the knees. And come into a child's pose. Any version of child's pose you like. I always like to stack my hands. That just feels best for me. All right, let's go ahead and come to all fours. And we're going to come into frog pose, which is a pretty intense hip opener, inner thigh opener. If you don't want to do frog pose, if you've got knee issues, or you're just like, I don't want to do that today, you could do garland pose, which is your low squat here. If that doesn't work for you, you could sit down and do another butterfly pose, okay, like we did at the beginning. If you're going to do frog with me, I'm actually going to turn my back on you guys so you can kind of see what my legs look like in this. So I'm going to rotate myself, and you might want to do the same, especially if you're on a harder surface. I'm on carpet, so I'm kind of good to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to start to walk the knees apart, and we're going to turn the feet out 90 degrees. I don't know if you can see my feet. I'm going to come forward actually onto my mat because I think my feet might get cut off in the video. Okay, so once you've gone kind of as far as you can, and the lower legs are coming straight back from the knees. You're making 90-degree angles. So the legs aren't pointing out, they're not pointing in, they're coming straight back. So once you've gotten those knees as far apart as you can, if you want, lower down to your elbows. And then from there, if you need more, slide your hips back. And this is where it gets pretty intense for me. So breathe and go really, really slowly into this because it can be very, very intense. All right, and then to make our way out, we're going to come back up to the palms if we lowered, bring the feet in towards each other, and then pop the knees in. And then I'm going to rotate myself around. Go ahead and come back into your child's pose. Keep your knees together. Whatever you want to do with your arms is totally fine. And we'll go ahead and sit up. Taking the legs around to the front, coming into staff pose, Dandasana, extending the legs out long. You can kind of rock from side to side, move some of the flesh out from underneath your sit bones, or if you have a blanket or a folded towel, you want to sit on the edge of that. I always like to do that. We are coming into a forward fold, so if you have a strap and you want to use it, have it where you can grab it. Flexing the feet, let's inhale to lengthen the spine, reaching the arms up. Exhaling as we fold, hinging from the hips. So reaching for your feet, grabbing anywhere along the leg, or using that strap to extend your reach. Pulling on the ends, keeping the spine fairly neutral here. Relax your shoulders. Using that sinking breath. Inhaling to lengthen the spine. Exhaling to deepen our fold. And we'll release. If you're using a strap today, you can leave it wrapped around the bottom of your left foot. Just take your right foot out, bending the right knee, and then letting that knee open out to the right side for Janu Shirshasana. I always prop underneath the knee. It just helps me with my SI joint. So you can do the same if you want to. Placing one hand on either side of the left leg, turning the chest to face the leg, inhaling as we lengthen, exhaling as we fold, reaching for the foot or your strap or anywhere along the leg. Maybe taking a cross grip or something on my toe if you want. Try to center your chest over your left leg. And we'll release coming up, bringing that right knee up. Step that foot up and over to the outside of your left thigh. You can leave your left leg straight or bend it underneath you and sit back down. Hugging the knee with the left arm, the right arm comes behind us and we twist to our right. So you can stay hugging your knee like this, or you can bring your elbow past your knee. Or if the bind is in your practice and you want to do it today, reach your left arm between your legs, come behind the back with the right, and grab hold of your shirt, a strap, or if you can reach your fingers, grab your fingers. Releasing the twist, extending the right leg out, bending the left knee, let that knee open out to the left side. Maybe prop underneath the knee, maybe set up a strap around the bottom of the right foot if you have one. Placing one hand on either side of the right leg, turning your chest to face the leg, inhale to lengthen, exhale to fold, reaching for the foot, the strap, anywhere along the leg. You can take that cross grip with your hands again if you want to. And release, coming up, bringing that left knee up. Step that foot up and over, keep your right leg straight or bend it underneath you and sit back down, hugging the knee with the right arm. The left arm comes behind us and we twist. So again, any of those options again for the arm position, hugging the knee, bringing the elbow past your knee or reaching through the legs, coming behind the back and binding your twist. And release. Go ahead and roll all the way down onto the back. So you can hold on behind your legs and kind of help yourself down. If you want to challenge your core, don't hold on. Keep your arms extended and tuck your chin into your chest, finding gravity all the way down. Come down one vertebrae at a time. Gravity will eventually win, and once it does, hug the knees into the chest. Taking some little rocks from side to side. Circling those knees, first in one direction, and then in the opposite direction. Coming back to center, hugging the right knee in, releasing your left leg down to the mat. Give your right knee a squeeze. Extending the right leg up toward the ceiling, pointing and flexing the foot a few times. And then circling the foot, just the foot. And switch directions with that foot. Grabbing anywhere along the leg or using a strap, pulling that right leg in towards you for a hamstring stretch. You can leave your left leg bent or you can straighten that leg out along the floor. Extending the right leg out towards the right side. Try to keep your left side on the mat, so maybe place your left hand on your hip. You could also activate the muscles in your left leg to make that side of your body heavy. And then we'll take that right leg up and across the body over to the left. Reach your right arm out and twist. Try to keep your right shoulder on the mat. If you like, you can also look down that right arm. And we'll release. Bring that right leg back up. Bending both knees for a figure four, crossing your right ankle over your left thigh, reaching your right arm between your legs, and then pulling on the left leg. So you can either grab the back of the thigh or grab a hold of the front of the shin. Try to line your left knee up over your left shoulder. And then we'll release the right leg, hug the left knee in, give it a nice squeeze. Extend the left leg up, point and flex the foot. And then circle it first in one direction. And then in the opposite direction. Grabbing anywhere along the leg or using your strap, pulling that left leg in. For a hamstring stretch, your right leg may be bent or straight. Extending that left leg out towards the left side. Try to keep your right side on the mat, so maybe place your hand on the hip or just kind of activate the muscles in that leg. Make that side of your body heavy. And then we'll take that left leg up and across the body over to the right. Reach your left arm out, twisting, keeping your left shoulder on the mat, maybe also looking down that left arm. And release, bringing that left leg up. Figure four stretch, so bending both knees, cross your left ankle over your right thigh, reach your left arm between your legs, holding on the right leg, lining that right knee up over that right shoulder. And release, hugging the knees into the chest. Extending arms out to a T position, palms can be up or down. You can either drop both knees over to the right, or if you want, you can cross your left leg over your right thigh first, and then take the knees to the right. Keeping both shoulders on the mat, maybe looking down your left arm. And we'll release and switch sides. If you cross legs one way, cross them the other way. And then we'll take the knees over to the left. And release. Uncrossing your legs if they're crossed, hugging the knees into the chest. Bring your forehead up to meet the knees, squeeze everything in nice and tight. And then release. So, preparing for Shavasana, final relaxation. So if you do not want to stay for this part of the practice, go ahead and just exit the class. If you are staying for Shavasana, go ahead and put any layers on if you want, if you're in kind of a cooler space and you want to put an extra shirt on or some socks, and then find a comfortable position that you can stay in for about the next 5 minutes. And I'm going to read a little guided visualization just to give your brain something to kind of focus on. Sometimes when we're trying to relax, that's when our brain starts to go off on a lot of different tangents. So sometimes it's nice to have a little story time for you. Let your mind wander and drift now to thoughts of buoyancy, floating, drifting, and relaxing. Simply close your eyes and listen to the words I speak. As you listen, allow yourself to relax. Imagine at this moment that you are sitting on the shore of a protected lake. It is very peaceful and calm, and the water is a deep blue. The lake is surrounded by trees. The trees have full green leaves hanging from their branches. Imagine a single drop of dew resting on a leaf. The leaf is on a tree which hangs over an expanse of flat, undisturbed water. As the dew rolls down the leaf, feel tension giving way to gravity, gradually releasing hold of the leaf, then falling slowly towards the water. As the dewdrop is welcomed into the water, imagine the ripples it creates. Each enlarges slowly and gradually. This continues as its action is absorbed by the lake. Soon the lake is back to a relaxed, undisturbed, and smooth state once again. It is no longer a single falling drop. It is now part of a large breath, calm, soothing water. And we'll start to wiggle fingers and toes, circling ankles and wrists. And reaching the arms up overhead, just stretch. And release. And either rolling to one side or hugging the knees into the chest. Taking a few deep breaths as you prepare to come up to seated. And when you're ready, making your way into any comfortable seat you choose. Sitting up nice and tall and dropping the chin to the chest. Taking the right ear towards the right shoulder. And left ear to left shoulder. Bringing the head up, taking the hands behind the head and looking all the way up. And release, taking 3 deep breaths, inhaling arms up. And exhaling them down. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. One more time, inhaling it up. Bringing the hands together at heart center as we exhale. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.